Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clayton Soka, and welcome to another My Thoughts On. So, with Illumination's new animated film and second Dr. Seuss movie, The Grinch, is out in UK cinemas and US theatres, if you will, and hopefully I'll be seeing it tomorrow. So, what's more appropriate than to review the 2000 live action adaptation of the book by Dr. Seuss, the film directed by Ron Howard, or as people will call it, the one with Jim Carrey. Uh-huh. Before I get into the movie, if you're wondering what I think of the original Grinch, which is the book, I never read it. I think the only Dr. Seuss book I've read was Green Eggs and Ham. That's about it. However, I did see the 1966 short. Despite being slightly dated, the animation is a bit past its time, let's say. But I think it's a classic. It has a simple, straightforward story with a pretty sweet message, along with pretty good narration from Boris Karloff. And the animation, again, while it's ahead of its time and it looks a bit, you wouldn't see like something like this today, is pretty spectacular. So if you haven't seen it, do give it a watch. It's about 25 minutes, so it's not going to be much, but it's something. Granted, it's not like the best Christmas related special movie. I'm going to go with it's not the best thing to watch at Christmas, but I can definitely tell you it's one of the best. And of course, with something popular like that, someone has to make a movie about it. But what is there to change? Well, in this movie's case, not much. So this is the Grinch, or it's called How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This film was released in 2000, the year after I was born. Yeah, because I was born in 1999, so I would have been a few months old, I think. I don't know. Okay, so the movie is about these Who's celebrating Christmas. But there's only one person who hates Christmas, and that is the Grinch, played by Jim Carrey. And he wants to steal Christmas. And yeah, I think you know where I'm going with this. But unlike the original Chuck Jones short, they have made a few changes here. The short is actually more faithful to the book. This one loosely. Let me tell you why. So in the short, it's it's established that the Grinch hates Christmas, but the narrator says, "Please don't ask why. We're not sure." It's pretty. If he says they're not sure, then if they don't know, then that's all you're going to get. To this movie's version, it's because of a beard and because the Grinch was born from the sky, and apparently that's where all babies came from, and also because of a girl. Yeah, not just because he just doesn't like it and he's different. No, because he was born that way. Even though some people would say that's because of the shaver and Augustus Mayhew, but I think it's just because he's just born that way. No explanation at all, but okay. I'm just gonna go out and say it. If you like this movie, good for you. Personally, I don't think it's that good, so don't say, "Oh, greatest Christmas movie ever." Fine, it's the greatest Christmas movie ever to you, but to me, not really. I have my other favorite Christmas film, and don't worry, I will do my thoughts on that when it's time. Yep. I don't like this movie at all. I don't think it's that good. I'll start off with the pros. It's occasionally funny. I mean, not to like the other side characters. It's mostly just the Grinch because, well, it's obvious, but he is pretty funny, and he does make this movie easier to watch, I suppose. But we'll get more into that with the characters. The sequence of events are somewhat interesting, and I guess the message is there. I mean, like Beauty and the Beast, this movie has some things that are somewhat related to the short to the Christmas special. Like when in the first half, it gets a bit. It doesn't really know what it wants to be: a comedy, a satire, or just or does it want to like come up to the screen very close and do some movements and all that just to make your kids stay awake? That's not a good sign of entertainment. That's filler. Granted, the filler in this movie isn't bad. In fact, I think it's tolerable. But if you're just doing that just to make your kids stay awake, then that's bad entertainment right there. Yeah. What else? I don't know. I thought this movie was in a way clueless. Like there's just things happening. Cindy Lou Who wants to know more about the Grinch, which wasn't in the original uh, special. So this is kind of an upgrade. Oh, not in a good way, but at least it's something. Uh, I got a little bit bored with this movie, to be honest, and this is also pretty mean spirited. I mean, the original wasn't anything like it wasn't perfect, but at least they knew how to keep the movie spirit and happiness in the short. But again, it's really simple and gets straight to the point, and that's pretty much what you need with a plot like this. If you could barely call it a plot, it's just him trying to steal Christmas and trying to find what's good about it. Here, it's kind of political, I guess, and it's kind of, I guess, controversial since there's more to it. Since they actually, they don't even allow him in the village. I don't think. I think in the original they just kind of feared him. I don't know, but I know they have laws about not inviting Grinches, and there's an obvious bad guy. I mean, why do you need a villain? He's pretty much the anti-hero. He's not necessarily bad, even though what he's doing is bad until, they realize the true meaning of Christmas. Yeah. I don't know. I never really got into this movie at all. You know, The Greatest Showman? Yeah, that's another movie that a lot of people just like, no matter what. Critics are a bit mixed on both of these, and these are two films that I didn't really get into all that much because I never understood it. Yeah, no. Is this original writing? No, but the film really has no idea, and it's one of the most clueless, weirdest, unfocused films I've seen in a while. I'd say it's predictable. It's sometimes funny when it tries to be dramatic. It doesn't take itself very seriously. It's kind of laughable. It's not pleasantly interesting at times. It gets a bit boring and a bit but I'll give it that it it kept my attention. Not necessarily in a way that the movie wants me to stay awake, but just because it's fun, I guess. Visuals. Yeah, this is not the best looking film I've seen. I know I know that's a bit of an understatement since it's not a bad looking film. In fact, it's not a poorly made film too. It looks good. Not great, but looks pretty good. Okay, pros. The makeup on Jim Carrey looks pretty great. He looks he looks pretty great as the Grinch if he was real. I mean, I like the movements he has with the costume, and when he moves his mouth like this, talk like this, like the Grinch. Oh, that stuff's pretty good, and I think it actually kind of fits him since Jim Carrey's always a blast, and here it seems like he's having fun with the costume. The visuals are not too bad. It's quite colourful, and it has a Christmas look to it, just like the Nutcracker. It definitely has a Christmas feel to it, and James Horner's score helps too. So they got that one covered. And when it comes to the action scenes and the slapstick comedy, it's a bit mixed. It looks pretty good when we see the Grinch's cave and all the inventions and how he uses them all for everyday life. It's pretty cool and pretty creative. Okay, now the cons. As nice as the film looks, it's just a average looking film. The wide angle lens and the close ups of the Who's and the Grinch and everything looks weird. It makes it quite uncomfortable at times. Speaking of Who's, they look pretty creepy. I know that's been said before, but damn, they look oof. They do not look pleasant at all. Heck, it even makes the Grinch more friendly looking. And the Grinch doesn't look creepy, he looks pretty good. Okay, granted there are some faces he make that there are some faces that the Grinch make that are a little bit creepy, but sometimes they can be funny for the right reasons. No wrong reasons there. Um, the special effects, the CGI in the film is not that good. It's pretty noticeable, but I'm not gonna like bash on it too much because this was like 2000 after 1999, which was back I think when CGI was trying to catch on, when it was trying to be a better thing. If this was released now, I think this would have been a lot better in animation, I think. And we got to thank Illumination for that. But back then, and since I was just a kid, I'm sure this would have been a big deal. A nice looking film, sure, but it's not all that. It's not all that impressive, to be honest. The makeup on the Grinch looks great. The Who's look pretty creepy. The CGI and the effects don't look all that great, but visually, it's a very Christmassy looking film. So the visuals are good. That's all I've got. They're just good. Characters and acting. Our main grump, the Grinch, voiced by Jim Carrey, is honestly probably exactly how you think the Grinch. He's exactly what you think of when you hear the Grinch. The one from the original was devious and he was very menacing, but at the same time he's still a bit of a goofball. This one is just more loud, obnoxious, doesn't have any care. I didn't really like him that much. I mean, he was not like he's not as bad as Augustus Mayhew. Granted, the Grinch has done worse things, but he just kind of got on my nerves. He's always like talking about those and that. Max, get my cloak. It always talks about mouths like this. Always talks like this to try and get your attention. Trying to be annoying as possible. I know, I have the greatest Jim Carrey Grinch voice ever. Who dares beat me? Okay, for real, I never really liked him. He was just a bit annoying, like Peter. But I actually kind of enjoyed him throughout the film. I'll tell you why. But he was jumpy, he was loud, but I'll give it that he's funny and entertaining once in a while. Cindy Lou Who is just the female Charlie Brown who just wants to wonder what Christmas is all about and more about the Grinch. That is all to her. The other characters in the film are there is very little. There's Max, the I wouldn't say comic relief because he does some but not a lot. He's just the pet for the Grinch. That's about it. He's a dog. Cute. The villain of the film, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is actually the mayor. Mayor who. No, wait. Mayor Augustus Mayhew, played by Jeffrey Tambor. He is the villain who just wants Christmas to be about presents and lights, and he hates the Grinch. He's a bully. Yeah, you know where this is going. I hate these characters that always want everyone to be happy no matter what, but when really they should be spending time of what the spirit is and what's good. This character wasn't didn't really interest me at all. I never bought into the mayor. He wasn't all that great or funny at all, which is a shame because I love Jeffrey Tambor. Funnily enough, and I'll say this with the next character, which is Martha May, played by I forgot her name, but I know these two were in Trolls, so I can definitely see why people would pick them and success of Trolls, and not that much to bring joy. But that's a story for another time. Martha May is the love interest who, yeah, you know where this is going. Um, yeah, I know there's other characters in the film, but those are the ones that kind of stand out. I don't like any of the characters at all. I think the Grinch is decent. That's it, really. Everyone else is just bland and not all that interesting. Forgettable, to say the least. The acting's perfectly fine. The standout, obviously, is Jim Carrey, who, as I mentioned before, talks like this. It's not quite Boris Karloff, but it is funny. True. Again, the performance he puts in and the movements and the way he talks, Jerry Judy, Jerry Judy, Jerry Judy, Blackmare, Max. It's it's funny. I don't know. I just kind of admire the way he speaks and the way he looks and the way he moves. He's having an absolute blast with this role, and his performance, while he was a pretty annoying at times, I'll give it that he is pretty entertaining. The kid who plays Cindy Lou Who is not bad. Jeffrey Tambor is all right. Seen the guy in better. The actress who played Martha May is fine. She's been in better things, and everyone else does fine. And even a surprising narration from Anthony Hopkins, who knew Hannibal Lecter slash Odin would do something like this. I guess it's a celebrity choice. Whether these characters are memorable or dull, even though these characters are just okay and mostly forgettable, and with some standard acting, it makes the characters and the acting just okay. And I know I've mentioned the James Horner bit, but really, what else can I say about that score? It's amazing. R.I.P. James Horner. You will be missed. So yeah, on one side I can see why people like it because it's a Christmas film and kids will enjoy it and they will enjoy it because reasons. But then I can see why people think this will disrespect the book and the special. Sort of like Peter Rabbit, except this movie was actually a big hit and it's actually one of the highest grossing Christmas films, which I don't understand why, but there you go. So I think that this won an Oscar and got two Oscars as well, which is understandable, but yeah, this movie was okay. The writing is not all that bad. It's very predictable. The visuals look pretty standard and kind of messy. The characters are forgettable at best. The acting is passable. However, it is funny at times thanks to Jim Carrey and the character of the Grinch. It kept my attention. The costume and makeup on the Grinch looks amazing, and Jim Carrey definitely has fun with it. The visuals do look colourful. The Grinch is somewhat okay, and the score by James Horner is amazing. If you've seen this movie, good for you. I really don't like the film. I think it's just okay. If you haven't seen it, I don't really recommend it. It's pretty loud and obnoxious. There are better there are better Christmas films out there, but this one's just in the okay pile. I know people love this movie, and even some of them even like cosplay as the Grinch. This movie didn't leave that. Sorry, this movie didn't really leave a impact on me. Nothing. It's okay, but not much. 6 point. Actually, no, 6 out of 10. Yeah, 6 out of 10. It's not good, but I don't think it's terrible. Certainly better than Cat in the Hat. And I'll even say it's better than the Lorax, but Horton Hears a Who is still the better one. Also starring Jim Carrey. And if you're wondering when I'm going to do the Lorax and Horton Hears a Who, well, funnily enough, I'm going to do the Lorax when a certain Illumination film is coming out next year, and I'll be talking about that at some point. And the other one, which is Horton Hears a Who, I will be talking about that when Spies in Disguise come out. So yeah, if you like the movie, good for you. If you haven't seen it, then good for you, I guess. If you've seen it, let me know, even though it's either going to be you like it or you don't. Hopefully, I will try and see the Illumination movie tomorrow. I have not heard good things about it, but I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to go in somewhat hopeful, and hopefully, it will be at least decent. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Until next time, bye for now. Seriously though, I hope you liked my Grinch impression. It's not bad actually. I think it's good. Yeah.